The one, the only King Ricochet, and you are listening to State of Pro Wrestling.
Jackson, you're tuned in to State of Pro Wrestling. Follow me on social media at the Young Gun RJ. Thank you very much.
You know, my man is the greatest. My man, he does.
Hello, fellow pro wrestling fans. My name is Freddie Fredrickson. The Cheese, joining us tonight. I mean, I was just about to make a quesadilla, but I am all out of cheese. But we've got the cheese here tonight with us.
I got plenty for you.
Excellent. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight. I want to thank everybody tuning in across all the platforms, State of Pro Wrestling, Facebook, YouTube, and X or Twitter, whatever the kids like to call it. Excited to have you here on the show tonight. Our very first guest, the live stream has returned, the beautiful. How did you become the Cheese, or were you always like this?
I think no one has ever asked me like that before. I guess, in a sense, I was always like this. It was just begging to come out.
Yes.
But I started training about 5 years ago at Jay Lethal's school.
Oh, wow.
And when it was time for promos, I cut the promo. And it was, I borrowed, you remember Saturday Night Live, Chris Farley as Matt Foley, the motivational speaker.
Absolutely.
I borrowed from that, and part of the promo was, you're living in a van down by the river, and you're living on a steady supply of government cheese. And Jay Lethal seemed to like it, and then afterwards he said, you seem to be pretty mad about that government cheese. And I said, oh, it's just from, he was like, yeah, whatever, and he started calling me government cheese. And then he eventually shortened it to cheese, and then, 2 cheese tattoos later, here I am, born in the school, the crypt of Jay Lethal. There,
Wow.
The Lethal Academy, as it was at the time, is now known as the Wrestling Labs, a great school for any aspiring pro wrestlers.
Wow, very cool, man. I think when most people think of Jay Lethal, they think of his technical skills and his amazing in-ring ability. And here you are, shining with this personality. One of my favorite aspects of pro wrestling is all the personalities and characters. What are some of your favorite aspects of pro wrestling?
Same. It's easy to say that, I grew up in Florida,
Okay.
and a lot of the wrestling that I grew up on was NWA and Championship Wrestling from Florida, and old tapes of both of those mixed in with some WCW, mixed in
All
with,
right.
occasional WWF. But I always loved the characters. The characters were always my favorite. Dusty Rhodes being one of them, which I borrow a lot from Dusty as a
All right.
tribute to him. And Sting is my all-time favorite wrestler. And the way during the Monday Night Wars on WCW Nitro, I love Surfer Sting, but Surfer Sting is like, I save Surfer Sting for the beach. When I'm feeling like I need to get some retribution, I go for Crow Sting, and where he would drop down from the rafters and take care of the NWO with one single baseball bat was always amazing to me. So, it's the characters. I do appreciate the technical skill that's involved, the athleticism, but I'm all about fun. I'm all about making new fans of pro wrestling. I'm all about, making sure that it's just that it's an environment that's welcoming and that people can grab a hold of this really awesome thing that has changed my life over and over and over again through the years, is just the characters and the fun and the drama and all that stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Diving into your character, getting to know you last month, getting introduced through Tony Miller's show, that Sting trivia show, and kind of diving into your work and seeing you flinging slices of cheese going out. Oh, there we go.
Tony.
That's speaking
Hey,
of
brother.
Tony, checking us out on YouTube. Much love to Tony Miller. How did you and Tony Miller cross paths?
It was several years back. I was on a show, and he was there, and I got to talk to him a little bit, and we would kind of bump into each other from time to time at different shows in the Florida scene. But what I love about Tony, and not a lot of people know this about me, but I was big into blogging about wrestling before podcasts were at their prominence, and
Okay.
I would always talk about this, the state of wrestling, so to speak. But
Absolutely.
it was a fun pastime. I mean, like everybody knows, like if you are a fan of this business, you're going to be typing those keyboards and you're going to be talking about pro wrestling whenever you're able to. But Tony, I just met him and I just fell in love with the way he enjoys pro wrestling. Of course, huge fans of Sting, so we both have the same hat, the same Stinger hat, which is really cool. But I just love his attitude towards pro wrestling, and that's what you look for in people, that you want to surround yourself with a positive aspect of pro wrestling. Not, of course we can rest on our laurels and we can sit there and we can fuss about, I don't like this or I don't like that. But the thing I love about Tony is that we can talk about what we do love, and we can talk about it for hours. And I just love the guy, and I love his podcast, and I love that there are platforms like yours, and there's so many of you guys that are just showing that passion. And for me, you are an extension of the business. Okay, I'm in the business of professional wrestling. I'm traveling, I'm touring, I'm selling merch, I'm doing the things, and I'm having a blast. But I want to include you guys as far as I'm concerned. You guys are an extension of the business, and the business wouldn't be as hopping right now if it weren't for guys like you and Tony and those that love professional wrestling and really just want to push it out there, especially for independent pro wrestlers like myself. Most of us are so appreciative of the fact that you guys are giving us these platforms. So thank you, and thank you to Tony as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's a great dude. We crossed paths this last year or two, just kind of recognizing him and everything. And like you said, a great positive attitude, seeing the way he's done it. Watching myself back on the reflection even here, I can see a few of the things that Tony has taught me or I've learned just from watching Tony. Oh, Sting for life. Where's my NWO hat? Where's my NWO hat?
I got to say, I told you earlier off air, but you really, you look great. You look completely
That's
different
right.
from when you had that whole Sting face paint. That was commitment, brother.
I love that you only know me as Sting, before tonight. That's awesome. Kind of like old school juggalos, No, you don't know me you don't know ICP without their face paint.
Oh man, yeah.
Even Gene Simmons is ugly underneath. No.
No.
I'm just kidding. Speaking of Tony and everything, you guys been down there in Florida. Man, it's just been great kind of diving into your guys' scene there. What is the local scene like down there?
Well, it's pretty thick. It's pretty competitive. But what we're trying to cultivate, or at least from my standpoint, is that we're trying to cultivate an area of quality over quantity. So, and it's very. This is like where I'll step on the soapbox and talk for hours, right? But
Absolutely.
It's not a secret that in Florida, in certain parts of Florida, you can throw a rock and you can hit a wrestling promotion. But
Nice. Yeah.
there are some good ones. There are some really, really good ones that set themselves apart because they are fan focused. They bring in the people that bring in the fans, not only bring in the fans, but that the fans react to. And I could list off a bunch of them. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want anybody to feel left out, because I know that my memory being what it is, I'm going to forget someone and I'll get in trouble. But
Nice.
there are a lot of good representatives of professional wrestling, especially independent wrestling, on the Florida scene through promotions and through workers, professional wrestlers. And it's just it's great because there's basically, if you want to, you could watch an independent pro wrestling show every weekend in Florida, right? But there is a little bit of saturation at times. If there's two shows going on at once at different parts of the state, Florida is so big regionally, where if something is going on down in South Florida and then there's something going on in more central, which is I'm in the central west Florida area, the Tampa St. Pete area.
Right.
There's always, it's like, it's too far you got to commit to one if you're a pro wrestling fan. So it's just, it's a cool time to be part of professional wrestling is all I can say. There are a lot of really great national and international promotions that are doing, giving guys like me a platform like the NWA. But there are also a lot of great independent pro wrestling promotions that allow me to, give my brand of pro wrestling, and it makes me very happy. So the scene is very healthy here.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. You want to flash that flashy T-shirt you got and tell us about your experience there at the NWA recently? Oh no. Cheese. Are we out of cheese again? Hold on. We're taking a short cheese break. Maybe we should.
Oh, he's back. All right, I'm jumping back out.
My NWA hour live.
Should we do? I think let's jump to the highlight video and give you a couple minutes to catch up with us here. We got a little highlight video of the Cheese. You can check out this video on the Cheese's YouTube channel. Man, I'm loving it. I love the cheese. I love cheese. I love cheese.
That's one of my favorite highlight videos from my buddy Spot Monkey Photography on Instagram. Go follow him. Check out his work. He does an amazing job. He's another one of these guys that really just has a passion for the platform and
Very
for
cool.
pro wrestling. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Anybody else like that you'd like to plug or get in here real quick?
Oh man, I was just recording some videos last night with my friend Isaiah Reyes for iReyes Photography, and he does videography as well.
No.
The old elk. I gotta circle back to the old elk thing. I really have to. But I want to plug a couple of these other guys. iReyes Photography. The guys who make me look good and take really good care of me is Spot Monkey, who I just mentioned before. Follow him on Instagram, iReyes Photography. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook. And then one of my great guys, kid, and I don't want to call him a kid disparagingly. It's just like, I think at my age, it's a compliment when somebody calls you a kid. But Wyatt Felt, JWP Graphics and Photography. Those guys are amazing. They do a lot of tremendous work. And I've worked with a lot of great photographers. I actually had the opportunity to work with one from Colorado recently who came down for a show that we had. But it's these extension of the business that you guys and those photographers and videographers, you guys make us what we are. Okay. So I want to, on behalf of everybody in indie wrestling, I'm going to go ahead and make us what we are. If we didn't have somebody like, I know there are guys like Gentleman Jervis, who's a friend of mine. He's really good at videography and graphics and all that kind of stuff. He does everything himself. So yeah, nice. I name drop. But you guys, a lot of guys do a lot of things themselves, but I cannot do that. So I wanted to give all those guys credit there. But that video was from Spot Monkey Photography, and he does a lot of my highlight videos, which is really cool.
Very cool, man. Yeah, later on tonight, 10 p.m. Central, we're bringing on our friend, AV expert, dude who's done a lot behind the scenes, Lucas Starr. And then this Sunday, got special video production kind of special with two of the best video guys around the Midwest. We got Chavo and Ring Film dude coming in. So very excited to kind of, dive in, pay respects, like you say, to these other people, because it does take a lot of people around, like we said earlier on the live stream, excuse me, the wrestlers are the center of this world, but there's a lot of people that try to make you look prettier. I could take a picture of you, but those guys could take like an amazing photo of you and everything, as we've seen in the promo photos that you sent in for this episode. And it was great to be able to have those options to choose from.
Absolutely.
Now let's jump into your career thus far. Can you tell us some of your highlights from your career?
Well, I've been very, very blessed. I've been in the business for about 5 years now. I have had the opportunity to work with some great opponents, some great tag team partners. I've done so working in, Central Florida area and around Florida. But I would say, to kind of condense and compress some of my highlights is working with Shark Boy, tag teaming with Shark Boy was an amazing opportunity, and he was so giving and so full of advice, and not just about in the in-ring stuff, but as far as like merchandising and how people don't realize he's been in the business for so long that he has a lot to offer in a lot of different ways. And being able to have the opportunity to work with my friend now, Luigi Primo, it was a really big coup for me, being the Cheese. We had a great match, but we were going to tag team. It hasn't happened yet, but we were going to be Cheese Pizza, something pretty simple like that, but he's a great guy. Getting the opportunity to work around guys like Effie, who's a great name in the world of independent wrestling and
Absolutely.
has his own brand and everything. He's super smart. That's a highlight, being able to work Fest around him.
Nice.
I got to work with the Headbangers, and they turned my cheesy chest into basically hamburger meat. They destroyed it by chopping me. I will say, I did say I wasn't going to say any promotions, but I think that was just relegated to Florida. But one of the coolest highlights that I had was last year when I got to go to Austin, Texas, and work for an amazing promotion called Slam Portal. And Slam Portal is like, it's literally a portal. You are through space and time, shot through a portal, and there's an audience right there in front of you.
Yes.
And it was an amazing experience. They were super hospitable, the folks there at Slam Portal. And, you know, I just can't wait for the next time that I can go through the portal again. It's ethereal and it's hard to explain because it was such a beautiful experience. But I would just recommend any of your listeners, any of your viewers, any of y'all who have the opportunity, if you can't go to Austin, Texas to catch a Slam Portal show, do your best to go on YouTube or on Instagram and check them out. You don't want to miss their shows. They're super fun. Luigi Primo's there. I was there. I wrestled a guy, a rooster named Cockrocker. You know, there's a lot of really cool things. So I think that's my one promotion I'm going to single out and shout out on this, because, you know, I shout out, like I said, I'm so appreciative of just being part of the business that I shout out all the promotions all the time. There's always somebody I'm going to miss out, but that was, you know, that was a huge highlight for me. It was I'd worked in Georgia before, but Texas was my first, like, out of this part of the South. I went to another part of the South, but Austin is such a great city, and it's so cool to, you know, to meet those guys there, and just to have that opportunity to work there was a huge highlight. And there's also, I think, the most recent highlight. I've worked with him a couple times because, as I said at the very beginning, he's my trainer. But Jay Lethal, I got to tag team with Jay on a couple of different occasions, as seen in the highlight video. And then I had my friend Logan Cruz and I, every year we run a holiday show called Hope for the Holidays, and it's in December of every year. And what it does is it gives it's a toy drive, but we also get cash, and we give 100% of our earnings to this foundation called the Christmas Toy Shop Project. And it helps kids and their families in this area. They can just go shop for the toys and presents that they want for the holiday season. And it's a really cool cause. We doubled the amount that we've made for donations this past year, and we plan to double it this year. But I was able to wrestle Jay Lethal on that show. And
oh no, don't break up now.
It was awesome. And so that was another highlight. And then the most recent highlight I've had has been able to work.
Every time we try to mention NWA, what kind of conspiracy is this? No, I was just about to be like, let's get back to that NWA story. Yeah, we're glitching up here again, at least through my feed. Let's give it a minute here. First night on the brand new show.
And he's glitching on my screen too. He seems to be froze up.
Oh no, I just wanted to hear the NWA story. Maybe, perhaps another time. We gotta.
Oh, there. Wait, he's back now.
There, yeah.
Steve, are you back?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening.
It's okay. It's okay. It's our first night under the new format.
I know that that first time, I don't know what happened, but the second time, right now, it's just like your internet connection's been restored. I'm like, when did it leave? But no, I'll finish up what I was saying, and I'll shut up about it. But my latest career highlight has been working for the NWA. I got to participate in the NWA Power tapings recently here in Tampa, and it was amazing. It was one of my favorite occasions because I got to be in the main event of the night. I know that, yeah, NWA is going to promo time. I know that the way it works, the tapings will go kind of be shuffled around differently. But for that night, I was the main event, and I got to tag team with my good brother, Mike Orlando, the Green Machine, who is an amazing tag team partner, has been a great friend of mine in the business. So those have been the most recent highlights, I can say.
Very cool experience, man. What was that like as a whole, going through the NWA process compared to what you normally go through on like a local indie?
Yeah, so what was cool about it is it was, I don't want to make it sound like they're not professional, but it was more relaxed than anything. They had good catering, so that was cool. But it was a relaxed environment to a degree. I was nervous for when I did the first time, worked with them again in this area several months back in November. But yeah, I was surprised that it was a little bit lax, but it's also, you see some of the same guys that you work with on the independent promotions here in Florida. And Billy Corgan was very nice. He was complimentary of my matches, and
Nice.
I had a really good crowd.
Awesome.
I had an awesome crowd, and a lot of people came to see it. And same thing for this last time in Tampa. So the difference, I think, would be that you've got an absolute rock star, a literal rock star, running the company that you're coming to do work for, and you see a lot of guys that you've seen on TV before, like EC3 was there, and Tom Latimer, and Trevor Murdoch, guys like that. It was a cool experience. So that was a little bit different, but it was interesting being part of the machine for a few minutes. A lot of production stuff, a lot of guys with headsets, like you don't see that too much at an indie show.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You talked growing up there in Florida, growing up on NWA and some of the wrestling down there, Dusty Rhodes, Sting. When we were out in Boston, you could kind of still see that influence of Killer Kowalski, the guys he trained, kind of that lineage around here. Not so much with the Gagnes, but some of the stuff they've passed on to some of the trainers like Eddie Sharkey and so on and so forth. And when we talked to Kurt Gannon from Kansas City, he kind of talked, same with Harley Race, that lineage is kind of still there around there. Is that sort of thing around? Like, is there sort of a lineage from Florida to some of those legends?
There's a lot of influence there. I can say that. But the thing about Florida is not a lot of people, especially in this area, not a lot of people are actually from Florida.
Okay.
I'm one of the very few people that have lived here my entire life that I know in wrestling. Most everybody else is coming from the Midwest or New Jersey or Virginia or some other state. There are very, very few of us that are kind of born and bred here in Florida. But yeah, the influences are still there. You've got a lot of good schools, wrestling schools in Florida as well. You've got the Dudleys, and you've got Flatbacks, and you've got I'm trying to think of Malachi Black's school. But and of course Jay Lethal is where I came from, but you've got a lot of really good, solid influences there, the guys that have gone through those schools. So there's a lot of different types of influences in Florida for sure.
Absolutely. We've seen one of the wrestlers around here from the Midwest that recently moved down to your area, Eugene. We've seen you on an upcoming show with Eugene.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to meet and talk with Eugene a little bit, and
Nice.
everybody be ready because Eugene and Cheese tag team might be happening. You Cheese, I don't know. So
That's
I'm
amazing.
very
We just
excited.
seen our friend post Green Cheese. Is that the name of your guys' tag team with the?
You know,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Maddie and that family, they love wrestling. Her son's name is the Digital Destroyer. He
Oh,
has his own wrestling persona and everything, and he's like the
nice.
coolest. They're the coolest family, and I always tell him, "Your mom, you're so lucky that your mom takes you to wrestling events because, we didn't have any around us when we were growing up because I grew up in
Right.
North Florida,
Okay.
but we watched it together as a family. It was a big thing for us to watch, the NWA or watch Championship Wrestling from Florida. Um, but the green cheese machine, green the cheese. I don't know. Mike and I are still kind of shopping the names.
I like it. We got Michael Earl Pam tuning in here a lot. He's a huge super fan here in Minnesota. He does some great interviews. Michael, we love you. Is there any questions you have for the Cheese? Are you still trying to make everything about you? This guy,
He says you're bitter.
he does. He stole some guests from us, and I might be better a little. He's got how many followers? Man, he's got a huge YouTube following, way bigger than me. So a little bit. He's a good dude.
Brother, hit me up if you want the cheese on your channel.
Oh, there you go, Michael. Michael, you could steal this guest. Okay, I'll let you steal the cheese for one night only. Then you gotta give the cheese back. All right. Some other wrestlers here who came up to the Midwest All-Star Wrestling recently won the championship. Oh, there we go. Dude, I was saying one of my goals for 2024 was to bring the Cheese to Wisconsin because
Let's go, baby.
it's a perfect fit. Cheese, Wisconsin, even having green cheese is even more Wisconsin-like. Maybe we could do some DPW, some cross-promotion and whatnot, make that happen.
Michael, I got you, Michael. You just hit me up.
Michael, I want 10%. I want 10% of whatever you're going to be paying the Cheese. You understand me?
Hey, I'll be on Mayhem.
The wrestler I was going to mention walked out of Grand Slam 5 in November with the MAW, the Midwest All-Star Wrestling Championship. He took it all the way back down there to Florida. He was kind of talking some smack earlier on Instagram about you, the real Drago. Do you have any words to or about the real Drago?
Drago is an insane athlete, just an absolute machine. He's something like he was extracted out of a Rocky movie.
Right.
So
no, the Drago.
Oh, there we go. So
there we go.
If Drago, if you want to mix it up with the cheese, you know where to find me.
There we go. Maybe we could bring him in for a MAW title championship fight if Drago can survive in February. Trying to make it happen this year. Let's see who else. The other people on that show coming up: Brian Idol and Natalia Markova. Any words about them? Any interactions with them?
Yeah, a lot of interactions with Brian Idol. Brian Idol he's like, and I mean this with no disrespect, he's like Fabio Jr. He's on the cover of romance novels.
Absolutely, dude.
Out loud. And good looking.
Makes the rest of us look even uglier standing next to him.
Natalia is great. She is a fierce competitor, a sweetheart. Both really good people and very welcoming to me on the real side of things.
Very cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Nice. Great to hear. Let's see. Anything else? We're kind of getting to the end of the hour. Any last plugs or social media? Anything? Last words for the fans out there?
Yes, I would just like it if you guys would go on Instagram and follow me at The Cheese Pro. And then you can also like me and follow me on Facebook, The Cheese Pro Wrestler. and I'm on Twitter or X or whatever you want as the Cheese PR or PW rather. But yeah, I would just appreciate it. You guys follow the State of Pro Wrestling. Hey, I'd love to be on one of your sizzle reel things where I say, hey, and you're tuning in to the State of Pro Wrestling.
Oh, will you cut one of those really quick for us right here?
Oh yeah. You give me a count.
All right, ready? 3, 2.
Maybe it's the Gorgonzola of rock and roll, the Sultan of Swiss. And what I want you to do right now is to open up your ear holes for the State of Pro Wrestling. Good? I love that kind of stuff, man. I hope that you'll use it, and I hope that you'll have me on your sizzle reel there.
Absolutely. We're starting to build the new one, a longer one as well. Maybe have the old school, throw everybody in there since the beginning. And hopefully we'll make it down to Florida this year again as well at some point.
Jeremy.
Oh, maybe Doghouse. We were just out there, Doghouse Wrestling in Wisconsin for their debut show. So couple possibilities.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
We got you on a live
I'm
stream.
ready.
Thank you so much, Cheese, for joining us here tonight. First episode with the brand new capabilities and everything. Had a few glitches, but overall, beautiful show. Great night. Great energy emanating here in Minnesota, Florida, out there in Pennsylvania area. Mayhem Media, you want to say any last words, any shout outs on your end?
Yeah, hey, I'll join up for just a second. We still got that video too. I didn't know if you wanted to show that before you close it out too.
That's right. We've got a video for you all.
Why don't we'll do the video and then
video. Oh.
Yeah, we'll do the video and then I'll plug my stuff real quick and then talk to the Cheese for just a second about the Stinger. So let's do that first.
Oh. All right.
Get those cameras out and get ready to say cheese.
Shop the cheddar and the Swiss is a boy. Say cheese to the elbow and you'll melt on the floor. You hit your hard with the DD cheese. In and out and take the title with these. A curly prairie and he's ready to pound. He's a monster and he'll slice you down. In case of panic, bring the greatness around. Slice after slice after slice after slice. Southern Swiss. He's a rock body heathen. Swing and a man. Rouse here and cheesing. Tony Soda, Ryan Roller, Frank Cooler, Ryan Rover, Parmesan, Reggiano, Great American Cheese. Pepper Taco puts him on your back. Easy wheel while he's under attack. Not your man, not your rabbit snack. You ain't messing with no easy man. Too good to be true. Too good to be true. Too good to be true. Slice after slice after slice. The American cheese, baby. The Sultan of Swiss, he's a rock body heathen. Swing and a man, that's it, cheesing. Gorgonzola, rock and roller, break cooler, burn you over. Parmesan, Reggiano, Great American Cheese.
Excellent.
I like
Great.
watching
Now,
myself.
there's a hole in the drywall in my apartment now. Thanks, guys. That was amazing.
Yeah, and I wanted to say to you, Sting's your favorite wrestler. He's also my favorite wrestler, man. I've been a fan of his since 87, 88 is when I first initially started watching wrestling. And I was one of the few people, I don't know, I'm sure everybody claims this, but I actually was one of the people that didn't doubt that Sting was a member of the NWO. I knew that wasn't Sting jumping out of the limo way back when.
Right.
You can tell, but with wrestlers have mannerisms, the way they throw a punch, the way they throw a kick, it's always the same. That usually doesn't change even when a wrestler evolves their style or changes or adds more moves. usually the way they punch or kick somebody always stays the same. Sting has never kicked or punched anybody like that when he jumped out of the limo, when they were teasing that he was joining the NWO. So I never bought that storyline from the get-go.
Absolutely. That my favorite part of Sting. Again, I talked about it earlier. Surfer Sting, I love him as well, but I love almost every iteration of Sting. Joker Sting, whatever Sting, but like that NWO foil that he did it so well. It was perfect.
And I give him mad credit for taking that kind of time off from in-ring activity to progress your story, to build your character. That's something too, man.
Absolutely. It would have been so, like, looking back on it now, I understand that a lot more deeply than I did as a kid, because all I want, like, whenever I was there and watching it, I was just like, I just wanted Sting to come back. I was like, when are we going to get Sting? When are we going to get Sting? When is he going to come and help us out? We're all of us lovers of the WCW. When is he going to come in? And now I look at it from Sting's perspective as a wrestler. Taking that time off, like you said, is just insane. I would not be able to do it. I get stir crazy over just one weekend if I'm not wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many wrestlers who'd be willing to take that, not barring an injury. I mean, Sting wasn't injured during that time. He didn't have any surgeries during that time, or at least none that were the cause of his time off. It was all for character building. So, yeah, I just wanted, when you said about Sting, I'm like, well, at the end, I got to make sure I let him know that I'm also a huge Sting fan as well. So I also, just like every other Sting fan that there has ever been, I also dressed as him for a Halloween.
Yes. I told this story on another podcast. I think it might have been the trivia podcast we did, but I went to a wedding, right? Like several years back before I got into the business. And there were there was all kinds of families and stuff there. And there were this station where they were doing kids face painting. And then, a couple of the adults had thrown back a few adult beverages and made their way over there. And one lady got a flower, and then this one guy got like a Mike Tyson thing or whatever, and just, people being silly. And I was just like, can you do this? And I showed the lady my phone, and it was Crow Sting, and she did it. And I think it lives somewhere on my Instagram. So
Okay.
I would look for that, but it was so fun because I was just so happy. It was like the happiest I've ever been at a wedding.
Yeah, actually, I dressed as the Surfer Sting. It was after he had made his Crow. It was after he had made his Crow turn. But I was like, no, I'm not dressing up as the Sting he is now. I was like, I want Surfer Sting back. So I went as Surfer Sting even after he had already turned to Crow Sting.
Got the bat. He's got the big gold.
Yeah,
He's got the gloves.
Should I go get the paint really quick and see if we can do 5 minutes? We'll save that. We'll save that for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get both you guys to come on an episode of Mayhem Media, which is my podcast. Check out Mayhem Media. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Rumble. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, because we're trying to grow our brand as well, and we're happy to be able to assist the State of Pro Wrestling with some production work so that he can continue to get his show growing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, JD, tonight, making this whole thing happen, making this way more beautiful than it's ever been, man. Thank you. Bringing it back tonight. JD, Mayhem Media, the Cheese. Thank you, Tony, for being here. Michael, everybody who checked in tonight. Cheese, is there, could you cut us a promo trying to get us this Old Elk sponsorship, if you could?
Well, listen up, cheese heads, cheesemaniacs. If you want something done, you can't just do it yourself. You need a little bit of help from Old Elk. And Old Elk has the smoothest, the tastiest, and sometimes the most aged bourbon you can get your hands on. It's whiskey, folks. And it's something that we enjoy from time to time here. I don't have any. I just have this can of sparkling water. And oh, how I wish it was Old Elk, baby. Old Elk, come sponsor State of Pro Wrestling podcast, just like you sponsored young Logan Cruz, my boy.
Yeah, we had so
Wish that
much
was
fun.
enough.
JD, you'll have to check that out. We got to plug Toned In Entertainment, Tony Miller. The Sting trivia episode. Check it out if you haven't yet. Was a lot of fun. Oh, thank you, Crandirk.
Crander Q. And hey, check him out.
Q.
Cheese, make sure you check Crander Q out, and he will definitely have you on one of his shows. Shout out Crander Q, Friends of the Squared
He's
Circle.
another dude, a
Definitely
lot
hit
of
him
great
out.
people.
Yeah, hit
Great
him up. He'll
Creators doing
definitely.
great things, man.
Yeah, he
Hit
will
me up,
definitely
brother.
have you on a show. And also, I'm also going to drop another name right quick. Also, reach out to Wrestling from the 313 with Mike D. He'll also have you on a show.
I love it. I would really. One thing I just want to plug real quick that I forgot because you're reminding me is my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get more subscribers. That's my goal for 2024 is to get enough subscribers to get up there to where I can actually start putting out more content, maybe even monetization. I don't know, but I would really love it if folks that are seeing this would go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's the Cheese Pro Wrestler. And it's up there. Awesome. Yeah, it's if you guys, anybody within the sound of my voice, if you could go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, would really, really help me out and would really help me crush some goals that I've got coming up towards this year. So I would greatly appreciate it. Yes, I will get down with the 313 and check out Friends of the Squared Circle. I can't wait. This is great. I can't wait to kind of be in this network of you guys.
Yeah. Actually, we started me and Crander Q and Mike D. Actually, we kind of started this like informal community of like podcasters. We've been sending each other guests all around, and now Freddie's kind of get into it here a little bit with the State of Pro Wrestling. So we all kind of throw each other guests to that way to help you guys, but then it also it helps us too.
I appreciate
Uplift
it. Like
everyone, man.
That's it.
Freddie, do you want to plug the next episode before you close out?
That's right. We got stuff going on too. Couple more hours. We'll be right back on with Lucas Starr, our guest tonight, the Prince of Vlogging or vlogging. I don't know how to pronounce anything. I didn't graduate from med school. And the debut tonight, new State of Pro Wrestling correspondent. We told you we want to showcase, shine the light on other creators. Tonight, Lex will join us, co-host to interview Lucas. Very excited about that one. 10 p.m. Central here. JD, you got something going on tonight as well?
Yeah, and make sure you tune in to the next episode on State of Pro Wrestling because it also will be produced by Mayhem Media. So make sure you check that out. We got a couple of comments here too. Friends, we're taking over. Yeah, Crander Q, we are. We've definitely taken over.
And all those videos you've seen tonight on here, all those highlight videos were straight from the Cheese Pro Wrestlers YouTube channel. So yeah, go check them out. A lot more content. Like we said, personality, character. I love it, man.
Oh, Freddie, you do got a real quick question. Friends of the Squared Circle wants to know if you're going to Ma.
I am not going anywhere until March. I got to stay home.
Well, then there's your answer, Crander Q. He is not going to be at Ma on 210. So, and make sure you check us, follow Mayhem Media, hit the share button, hit the like button, subscribe to us, follow the Cheese on his YouTube and his Facebook. And of course, State of Pro Wrestling, make sure you hit the like and give them a follow as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been great.
All right, I got to go get my suntan going. You guys have a great night. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you so much. It's been a great night. I love what this became.
That's the end.
All right.